Welcome to In the Garden. This is part 2 of our holiday edition on ideas for gifts for gardeners. And I have my co-hosts again, Debbie Kaharski and Tanya Vasek.
Okay, here's one that's kind of fun. A 5-gallon bucket and a bucket organizer.
Yes, we have found that 5-gallon buckets are very popular with gardeners to put tools in and drag around. And I found, and this is in the hardware department, it's not garden essentially, but it's really kind of nice. It fits over. So you have all these pockets on the outside, and then you have pockets on the inside as well to keep your tools organized. And it's just handy to keep, you know, all the different ones you might use, put it in your little bucket and drag it around with you. And it just, if you keep it organized, you know, it helps you determine what tool you're looking for.
Yeah,
So.
and I would look for the kind that goes in, you know, onto the inside. The ones that hang or strap around this don't hold much. They tend to go. Floop.
This one balances both inside and outside, so it works. And like I say, you just get it in the hardware department, but it's very handy.
So the cost of a 5-gallon bucket, get one for free, or they're usually like
$4 or $5.
$4 or $5 in your big box stores. The bucket organizer, again, not in your gardening department. It's going to be in your hardware department. And those can range depending, you know, on brand, different sizes, $15 to $30. So now we're going to go with, I call them my little plastic bushel baskets, but I don't think that's the correct name. They're little,
They're kind of known as
trugs.
tub trugs.
Tub trugs.
They come in varying sizes. This is, I think, about a medium. This is the smaller one. I consider these the duct tape of my gardening world because I use them.
You
For
throw stuff in
everything.
it to do it. You can put water in it if you're soaking your transplants.
Yep.
They're very
Flexible.
so if you have something that's not quite round or whatever, and they're not very heavy, so they're
I
very
just
lightweight.
emptied these out recently because I had my greens for my winter containers sitting in them in water in the shop. So
Yep. And I use the large ones. And then they also have other inserts. You can get a colander, you know, a rinsing colander.
Yep.
You can,
So if you're dividing plants,
Yep.
you want to wash them off,
Wash.
which, you know, with jumping worms out there, you do want to wash them off before you share them and move them around.
yep.
So yeah, they're really handy.
Yep. And they even come, like, even a shallow. They even
Yeah,
have a
they-
shallow
yep.
one compared to, like, the tub.
Yeah, my big
bucket.
one I use a lot for hauling mulch and getting up into my flower beds and dumping it where I want it. So
And the shallow ones would be good if you're harvesting.
yeah.
Yep. So again, depending on size, color, thickness of the plastic, where you buy them from, can range anywhere from $15 to $25 each. Sometimes they run a sale, like you get a bundle, you can get one of each size,
Or
mix and match. I
So.
mean, yeah. Once you kind of go down the rabbit hole of them, you're stuck.
Yeah, and it's once you have one, you find 101 uses for it.
And
Yes.
want more.
Yes.
And one more.
And
yes.
one more, yeah. Okay, here's something that might be a little off the beaten path. How about a label maker?
Yep, if your gardener likes to keep track of what their plants are, you want to label them. Well, here I have some labels or plant stakes.
Yep, that was
These happen to be Kincaids. They're stainless steel. And I'm going to just pull this off. You can, if your plate gets bent or somebody runs over it with a lawnmower wheel or something and you need to replace it, you can buy the plates separate. And you just slip them on here. And this style is really nice because these are what are known as captive plates, meaning they can't fall off. It doesn't matter. Occasionally I've had one get loose and slide down to here after a really tough winter, but they cannot fall off. If you get the type that has a little label that just kind of is folded metal and it folds around the stakes, the freeze-thaw cycle in Minnesota, you're going to come out and find a lot of those labels laying somewhere in the dirt, and not
the label
necessarily.
itself is pretty flimsy.
Yeah. Plus, I started with those, the zinc ones, and they, supposed to be rust proof. Well, I had legs literally rust off, so these come in different sizes. This is the 6-inch, which I found with our freeze thaw occasionally will push up out of the ground, although it usually stays near the plant. So this is the 8-inch. They come in 10, 12, I think even maybe a 17 or 18-inch, which you better have a lot of muscle to push that one down in the ground, but nobody's taking it if you're using it in a public garden either. So
And do you want to talk about the label making tape?
this, if you're going to buy a label maker, go for the Brother P-Touch. I am going to make a recommendation here because they're the only ones that make this TZE tape, which stands for extra strength. I have labels out in my garden that are probably the first ones I did with this stuff, and those type of labels are probably 25 at least years old now, and they're still on and still readable. The only time I've had some fall off is when I tried to reuse the same nameplate. Unless you have tools to really buff this out so it's nice and smooth, the labels will peel off of these. But if you start with a fresh, clean label, put these on, and you're good to go. There's no relabeling, rewriting, anything. And the label makers you can get from probably
Yeah, anywhere
There's
from 20
different
to
versions.
50 to 100.
under over a
yeah.
yeah. If you want one that hooks up to your computer and
Yep. A small little handheld one is
probably $25, $30.
25, $30. Yep. And then the steel plant plates, again, they're gonna run depending on the size that you want, and the bundle quantity is gonna be anywhere from 15 to 50.
Yeah, the Kincaids, well, stainless steel has gone up, so I think these are probably, they used to be about $22 for 25 of them. I think they're more in that $26 or $27 range now for 25. And there is one other stainless steel one that I've seen on the market. I don't know if it's got the captive label or not.
Okay, how about when somebody's out in the garden, a garden kneeler or something some items that are going to be easy for people to
Yeah,
use?
you know how they say now, at my age, that if you get down on the ground, you better have a plan for getting back up.
Yeah. This one is 2 versions. You can use it for a sitting. You can sit on it if you want to go, but if you really need to get down and dirty into that garden, you flip it over. You have a kneeling pad. It gets you off the ground. Plus, it gives you some support
Handles
to
for
get
getting
back
up.
so that you don't have to worry. And what I also like is it folds up.
Yeah,
So for storage over winter or taking it somewhere if you have a community garden. So you can stick it in a corner and make it much easier. There's plastic ones out there, but they bend and they just don't hold up as well.
Okay. How about some heavy duty knee pads?
And we have those here. You can go and you can find fancy ones in your garden catalogs, but the best thing is to go into the hardware department, like at Menards, and get a heavy duty, what carpenters use or what carpet layers use, because they hold up and they're much better on your knees. They're much gentler than.
yes, I may have to try some of those, because the garden ones I found, I have not been
They're
impressed
pretty
with.
flimsy.
Yep, I have a pair, and they were called Masonary.
Yes.
That would-
Masonary knee pads, and inside they're all a gel, and
Yeah, that's what this has.
Yep, and they wrap kind of like the picture that's going to be
And
shown.
then they bend with you too. So
Yep, and
the
they
knee
wrap
bends.
a high on my knee.
Yes.
High on my leg, and then you
slide
stand
down.
up, and it moves with you. So again, you're gonna. It saves you if you spend that little bit of extra money, but that movement, because you're constantly up off the ground, then you're kneeling again, and then you're up and down. And knee pads tend to either stay
Or slide
or
down.
slide. And so, yeah, finding a good pair, and once you do, you're kind of set for life.
I mean, and knee pads are nice too, but you don't have to move these. This
These
moves
are
with
with
you,
you.
and you
Yep.
don't have to worry about moving the knee pad over to get on. So.
Exactly. I also have a garden cart. It's a pull behind. It has a little tractor seat. It puts one of my large tubs or trugs
In the back
in
end.
the back end.
So you can weed right into it or
Yep.
deadhead.
And
or,
then I just literally take it and I take my legs and I scoot. And
yep,
and
they're sometimes called garden scoots.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
as they're on wheels, so I use
Yep.
those quite a lot when I'm picking beans and things like that.
Yep. And so, so the kneeler, anywhere from $25 to $50. The knee pads, if you go again, it's going to be in. It's not going to be in your garden section. It's going to be in that hardware section. Those are going to be $30 to $60. And the garden cart is going to run you over $100 to $150, depending on where you're purchasing it. Okay, next, how about some organization? If you know a gardener that likes to start seeds, get seeds, hold seeds, this might be something for them.
You can buy seed holders, the fancy things or whatever, but I've just taken like a binder, and then these are dividers like or for collector cards that kids do. So you could just do that, and then you can store your different seeds in there. And so you know what you have at a glance instead of going through. I like it because you don't have to go through the box to collect or anything. And you've got it all right there, and they stay. And then you can also use,
Yep.
this is Tanya's.
Mine,
She has a box.
I have a box, and it's just a toolbox. I keep pens and stuff on the top, and then all my items in the bottom. Now, how I store my seeds might be a little different. I reuse pill bottles. Everybody has them. You know somebody that has them. Tell them to start collecting, and then they're airtight and nice.
They seal. You don't have
and
to
they
worry about them
seal.
opening up again.
Exactly. And then I just label because we collect our seeds from different produce and stuff that we have in the garden. So that's how we do it. You don't have to be fancy. You
can
Get
if you want
creative
to.
with your
you
gardener.
can get very, very creative. Yep. And so it's all up to you. You can have a little fun with this kind of a segment and that type of thing. So
Kids could decorate the box
kids
for
could
you.
decorate it. Yes, you can design your own, or but just a binder with some organizational sheets can run anywhere depending on the size, $20, maybe $40, depending on how many sheets you're using, that type of thing. Or if you're going to add different dividers
Right.
in vegetables, plants, herbs, or vegetables, flowers, herbs, I should say. And the my toolbox, $20 maybe. You can go higher. They do have actual metal seed holders that have little containers in that label, and they ran probably about $50, $60 that I saw online. So again, something a little out of the ordinary for your gardener. Now these are fun. How about protecting yourself and
Your hands.
your hands? Let's talk gloves.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite subject, gloves.
And I know a lot of people go, oh, I hate wearing gloves. I can't feel anything. And my answer to you, and here I am these are called fox gloves. And they fit like a dress glove, but they're much tougher. And they're very flexible. This is the grip ones that have grippers. These are the regulars. And man, I tell you, since I started wearing these probably 20 years ago, I absolutely love them. I usually have 2 or 3 pair going on any given time so I can wash them out and dry them as I'm in between, because if you wash them and clean them up, they last longer.
Yes, and I just started those this year because I'd always start with gloves on and take them off because I wasn't feeling what I wanted to feel. I couldn't get my hands in the dirt. And those, this expression fits like a glove, that's what they do.
Yeah, and I can dig, I can plant, I can, even most seeds, if I get below the size of a radish seed, I gotta still take the gloves off, but that's pretty good, so. And my other favorites are woman's work gloves. This is the digger glove. These are more for, you're handling rough tools, things like that. This is the leather version. You can see these have been well loved and used already. And this is the kind of cool one. It's got the breathable mesh on the top of the hand. And the fox gloves, people aren't they hot? And I go, if it's 90 plus degrees with 88% humidity, yeah, anything's going to be hot. But otherwise, they're fairly comfortable. And
then we found this, Tanya found this handy little clip because I don't know about you, take your gloves off, leave them in the dirt, and then you can't find them or you take them off. This little clip has where you can clip your gloves, and you could clip it to your shirt, you could clip it to your 5-gallon bucket, you could clip it to the handle of your truck, so that you've always got them available. And they're very inexpensive, so it'd be like a good stocking stuffer for your gardener, because I don't know of any gardener that doesn't lose their gloves.
Or at least one.
And it's a bright color, so it stands out.
yeah, I spend a lot of time looking for gloves.
What about protection sleeves? We've heard some talk about that in our classes too.
And there's one called Farmer's Defense. That's the big one that's out there right now. There may be some others coming out. But it's kind of one of our master gardeners has them and has said she likes them.
It's just
sleeve.
a
A
sleeve,
sleeve
that
that
goes,
comes up, protect your arms from sun, from insects,
Scratching,
scratches.
if you're in with your roses or something, it prevents
Yeah.
scratching and stuff like that.
And they also have, of course, sun hats.
Yep.
And I see they also have gloves now, which I have not tried yet, but
Okay, how about a neck fan?
Oh, this was my find this year. It's USB charged, and the one charge lasts for several hours. But this particular one has a cooling pad, so when it's 90 degrees outside with that humidity, and you put this around your neck, it's flexible. But there's a cooling pad back there that cools the back of your neck. And then you have a fan, it's 3 speeds, that blows up into the air. And I took it on some tours we went on this summer, and I used it out in the garden, and I loved it. There again, I've heard you have to look for quality. If you get a cheap version of it, it's not going to last as long. This one I think was around $100. But I like that it doesn't use batteries, it's USB chargeable, and I said I never had it go dead while I was using it.
All right.
And you think it would be uncomfortable, but it really isn't. And also as an added bonus, if you go in and you have a neck ache from gardening, there's a heating function on it. So you can use it to give your neck some relief, but wonderful tool.
How about a harvest apron? Can you describe the difference between a regular apron and a harvest apron?
a harvest apron usually goes over the shoulders. There are a few just waist ones, but they have a big pocket that folds up and ties at the waist so it's open. So if you're out, you get out there and you think, oh, I'm just going to run out there and pick this one thing, and you all of a sudden have 5 zucchini and 6 tomatoes, and you can tuck them into this apron, and then they're usually attached with a clasp so that when you get in the house you can kind of lay it out on the table or the counter and unclasp it, and there's your harvest.
All right.
So those are kind of a handy thing.
So items, again, gloves, all the stuff that we mentioned, the price range is $25 to $100 depending on the item that we were talking about. Okay, another one that I can't live without, Joyce can't live without, is the dump cart. Debbie, do you have any thoughts on a dump cart?
They're wonderful. You take it out with your garden and you put stuff in it, and then you can just open it up and dump the things. Saves a lot of wear and tear on your back.
Yep, mine too. I with my handle, it hooks right on the back of my little lawnmower, and I haul that around my farm. And then when it's done, it has a little handle, and the cart levers
Yeah.
and dumps it out. So, anything else, Joyce?
Nope, they're a very handy little tool.
Yep. So again, size, there's different sizes, like a small, medium, large, extra large. And they can range anywhere from $100 to $200 depending on the name, item. Some of them don't dump all the way 100%. Some of them just give you a little lift. So I, read the reviews, see what everybody likes. But that's kind of a fun gift if you want something
a little bigger.
Now let's go power. Power, power, power. I have my electric pruner. This is a DeWalt brand. I think there's another brand out there, but mine actually came in a landscaping kit. So I got one of these, I got one of these, and I got the extension pole so I can go higher with a larger version, so like an extended chainsaw. That was a few years ago, but I love this. It's a pruner. Again, this is a safety latch. You take it and then pull the garden, and you can just go around and snip, snip, snip all your twigs very fast. Love it.
Yeah, my hubby surprised me with this one this last year. And he brought it in, and I'm looking at it going, And then I went, yeah, I can use this. And I have quite a bit, especially on some of those overgrown shrubs, the ones that you put off pruning because you're like, oh, that's going to take me forever. Those things have gotten too big because I didn't get to it. This is really handy for that.
Yep. Also, I know, another one of my favorites is the leaf blower. We have an electric leaf blower, no cords. I don't know if you guys use the electric leaf blower at all.
I have used it for blowing the leaves off the sidewalk and onto where I want to mow them up, or occasionally for blowing light snow off the sidewalk instead of shoveling it.
Yep, that's exactly what we do too, kind of just clearing that deck space, and then in the fall putting those leaves just in the right spot. It's just amazing what you can kind of find. Extending it, cleaning out that gutter. There's just so many fun things that you can learn with a little leaf blower. And again, some of these tools come in bundle packages. So if you find one, maybe you could add in another one for an extra bundle, or maybe get a battery pack or something like that. These are a little bit pricey on the pricier spectrum. So really show your love.
How much do you love your gardener?
$120 to about $250 depending on the item and if it's a bundle. So you're really going to spend it. Again, check reviews.
Yeah,
too.
watch for sales.
Yeah, sometimes brand names and that do make a difference. So now here's some fun stuff.
Let's see, where did that go?
If garden art is always fun. I just brought in a couple little things. This one is a mushroom that actually
is a waterer. Huh?
It's a waterer. Yep. You can put that I put them in my outdoor plants, my smaller ones, fill it with water, and because it's clay, it just seeps slowly into the soil. And it's cute. Other people, and this is just one for demonstration, but people can have big pieces of metal art all over, and that might be a fun gift.
I don't know a gardener who wouldn't love any one of these things if they don't already have them.
Yeah.
I also found something that was pretty funny. Just a little logbook, a journal. I like to keep track of what I'm planting, what worked, what didn't. So I found this cute little book in a little store. I thought it was funny, and this would be a good stocking stuffer.
Yep.
Yes.
Before we miss this one, maybe you want
Yep, these are augers. This is a small version. They come in bigger versions and bigger versions and bigger. This hooks right into my cordless drill, and if I'm planting a little bulb, it works. We use a bigger version to plant our tomatoes and plants in our garden. So again, just for demonstration, it hooks in and it drills that little hole, and you plop your plant in. How about seed trays?
Okay, and I'm gonna give a shout out here. I went with ones from Greenhouse Megastore, simply because that's where I found heavy duty ones. I start a lot of daylilies every year, and my lights are down in the basement. And at some point I thought, me carrying a wobbly trays up and down, with 4-inch pots, deep pots, is probably not a good thing, because either the pots or I are going to go down the steps the wrong way. So I started looking for a heavy duty one, and they had them. Other places might also, but a heavy duty seed tray. I've had mine for 10 years now, maybe, almost, some of them. I've added a few more as I went, and they are great for somebody that's a seed starter.
Is there a specific size? Because I know seed trays come in different sizes.
Yeah, a lot of them what do they call them? A 10,
20,
10,
20,
20, which is like a flat, kind of,
flat.
if you went to the nursery.
Just for people that are out there, because they might get confused when they're looking at, different sizes and what does that terminology mean. So, and then we have the glove clips again. Those glove clips, you get a pack of 2 for, $5-10.
Yeah.
They're not very expensive. So just some different things for your gardener. And last, we are posting a little bit of resources for everyone. Again, local hardware store.
Yeah, check with them. Sometimes they can order the items for you, so you don't end up paying shipping. As long as you're willing to pick it up at the store.
Local nurseries too is a great, if you want to get a good gift certificate. Everybody, your gardener likes plants, and you think about it, Christmas is going to be over, but spring's right around the corner.
And they'll be looking at it going, oh, I can't wait.
Yep. So, there's just a list of resources that anybody can and do. Yep.
I think we've covered
I-
and given a
I think
lot
we've-
of ideas for those
Yeah,
gardeners.
I think you should be able to come up with something from our
And
extended
if you
list
don't
here.
get what you want, you can do your own Christmas.
That's right. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time in the garden.
Yep. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.